I see, not to point out too much, but Stephanie Goldman, I believe, is on the line, and she is one of our newest CERTs. So welcome, Stephanie. It's really good to have you here. Nice to see everybody. So this is kind of our agenda tonight. We haven't really had a big CERT general meeting in a while, but we've been doing a lot of planning in the background. So tonight is just to kind of update you guys on some things that have been going on. The first thing we're going to talk about, obviously, is our upcoming Maid Drill. We're really excited to have that upcoming here. We're going to talk about what we want after that, since we're almost to May and we still have some of the year left. So we want to hear some ideas from you guys about, what we want to do next for our next drill. And we'll explain what we're doing at this one. That may help you kind of have some ideas of what you'd like to see after we do this first one this year. We'll talk about the Nixle test, give you an update on kind of an after action on that. And then we're going to talk about pathways. Pathways is going to be in person again this year. Well, not again, but finally this year. So we've been asked to participate in that. We're going to give you guys a mapping update. We've been working on kind of updating a lot of our mapping that we have, and there's a whole team that's doing that. And then we're going to talk about calendar subscriptions. It sounds like what I thought was happening with calendars is not what the true form of what the calendars have been doing for anybody else. So we're going to go over that too. So without any, is there any questions just to start off? And I can't really see everybody, so just unmute or throw out a question if you have one, or put your hands up, or chat question too if you'd like.
I can also keep an eye out for hands.
Thank you, Neil. Appreciate it. Okay, let's go to the next slide then. So our Maid Drill, some of you on this call probably know this, and this is repetitive, so I apologize, but for the new people that are here, just kind of wanted to give you guys an overview. So the date of the drill is May 15th. We're going to be meeting at the Arc at Foothill College at 10 a.m. We're going to be drilling for a couple of hours. And afterwards, are we still good afterwards for Bridget's house? Bridget, just let us know in the chat if that's still a good plan for you.
Yes.
We're going to be, okay, awesome. Yay. We'll have to talk specifics in a week or so, Bridget, if that works for you. So afterwards, we gather at the Coburn's house to have lunch and kind of mingle with each other. Something that we talked about at our meeting in January was that we really wanted to kind of, do some more mingling with each other, get a chance to really talk and chat. It was really fun in December when we had our kind of end of the year meeting to see everybody in person, and everyone gets to talk to each other, meet some family members and things like that. So it was really enjoyable. And I think we kind of want to start doing some things like that again, now that's a little bit more safe for us. So who's going to be at that drill? It's going to be the CERT team. So our whole team here. What to bring. So if you could bring your CERT backpack and then all the PPE that should be in the backpack. I always like to train to what you'd actually be doing if you're going to come to the ARC, and you should have those things with you. So if you can please bring those. We're also going to be handing all the participants a new CERT tactical backpack. Dave Stewart has been demoing very kindly some backpacks for me to see what kind we think will be durable, have more room, and safer on the back. So we know that the ones we have currently are not as supportive as we would like, especially with some of the tools that we have in our backpacks. So we're going to be refreshing those backpacks for the participants that come. We won't be handing out backpacks to people that don't come to the drill. So if you come to the drill, excellent, you'll get a backpack. If not, you'll have another opportunity to get a backpack at the next drill. We also have the 2022 CERT badge stickers. So the badges that you get from town have to be updated every year. So we'll be giving those out at our first activity, which is kind of how the town wants us to be updating badges. So be ready to have your CERT badge there as well. And that way we can get you your new sticker. Next slide, please. So some of the objectives and goals that we have set for the drill. The first objective is to utilize our activation mechanisms. As you guys probably got, we did send out some Nixle testing, and we have some updates on that Neil will give later, like I mentioned before. But we're going to just make sure that our activation mechanisms are in place. Obviously, if we don't have those running well, then that's going to be our first hurdle to jump. So objective number 2 is to set up the ARC. I think we decided we're not going to set up the entire ARC, but maybe some areas that we feel are important that go with our groupings of our role reviews, which we'll cover in a second. Objective number 3 is to rotate participants through the ARC operational stations as a role review. So we took our group as a group. We decided the first thing we really wanted to look at is getting activated. So that's objective number 1. Setting up the ARC and seeing that set up. We're going to do a little bit of that this time. And then a lot of people want refreshers on, what roles are there actually at the ARC when we do activate, and what does that look like, and how does documentation work? So that's a lot to do in one drill. So this is kind of what we see as drill number 1, and then figure out what we want to do as drill number 2. So some of the role review stations that we put together are, as you can see here, instant command and demobilization. So basically, you go to a station and get a presentation, and we've had some really good CERT supervisors sign up to take some of these roles and to help us present at each of these stations. We also have an ops recon, communications and logistics, planning, scribe and IT, staging, check-in, and redemption, spontaneous volunteers. So we'll be covering all of those roles and kind of reviewing what you do in those roles. So that's really important. If you haven't been to the ARC lately, don't really understand kind of what the roles look like, we'll be covering those at this drill. Next slide, if I have one, I don't know if I have another one there. Oh, I do, yeah. Okay. So now that you saw how that looks, now we're going to talk about upcoming drills. I think it's you, right, Neil?
Yeah.
Yeah.
So we've polled people and asked what they wanted to do. So we haven't done anything in the field in a long time. So I personally think the next 2 drills should probably be one that's focusing on field operations and recon, and then another one that's focusing on setting up and running the ARC. And I think it's a lot easier to do focus drills where people can learn that thing before you try to do an end-to-end drill with everything, because then just things go south and you don't learn as much. So that's at least my proposal. And then once we've done each of those other ones, we can do an end-to-end where we try to activate the ARC, the ECC, county, and field. Dave has his hand up.
Not hand up, just thumbs up.
Okay. So I'm putting this out there for discussion. If we don't have to do this, this is my proposal. And if people have other ideas, this is a great time to share them.
Neil, so the field drill, just recon, would that help us get connected with the new, what are they called? Haven zones?
Zone Haven?
Zone Haven, yes.
So ideally the mapping project will be far enough along, and that's a later topic, to go figure out, that we could use it. But right now we're not set up to be able to produce maps from Zone Haven.
So
Yeah, as the mapping guy, I would say that it's likely I can get that done in time.
Right, especially because this
the
is
new
summer.
Zone Haven zones.
So this recon would be similar to what Larry had us doing so successfully?
Yeah, hopefully with the new zones, but something.
Right, good.
And obviously we don't have time in a short drill to do the whole town, but we can, see if the paperwork looks right and, say, here's what a Zone Haven thing looks like. Here's how you can survey it. Any other questions before I move on?
When would we, I think are we thinking late August or September? Was that kind of our time frame?
So I was thinking every other month, but that's me imagining stuff. There's no consensus of the group.
So like July and September?
Yeah.
Okay. I like that idea. I think that we would want to probably just keep once we get forward momentum, kind of keep going with it. And asking 2 hours on a Saturday, you know, once a month, I don't think is that, or every other month is not a big ask. So I agree with Neil. Does anybody have any strong objection to that? All right, cool. Let's say July and September, and we'll do a doodle poll again.
Right.
And I
And
think, go
I
ahead.
am guessing we won't do every other month forever, but I think it's been so long since we've done something, we have a lot of catch up to do.
Yeah, and I don't want it to get too far past November because then we get into flu season again and possible, you know, COVID, whatever's. So yeah, I think that's a really good move, Neil. I agree with that. So just to clarify, in July, we'll do a recon. And then in September, we'll do kind of a whole, like practice multiple positions, maybe run through some incidents. Is that kind of what you're thinking?
I'm calling it an HQ drill, but yes.
Okay.
And then eventually, I don't know whether it would be November or into the next year, an end-to-end drill. Because
okay.
once you get into mid-November through the end of the year, basically the year, too many people are busy too many of the weeks.
Yeah, that would probably have to be in early November if we're going to do that. But I think that would be something to shoot for, to include all of that. Okay, great. All right.
Okay, not hearing anything else. So this is my slide also. So first of all, thanks for everyone who participated. We had, you know, roughly 80% of the people play, which is really, really good. And we're going to work on reaching out to the remaining 25 just to see what the issue was, whether it went to spam or they're not really want to be in CERT anymore or whatever else. I want to apologize for the multiple calls. I didn't realize just how obnoxious Nixel was going to be. So I am sorry about this. The way it works is it will do a voice call to every number that you have in your record, not just a number. So that is painful and unpleasant, and I think not useful. So somehow we have to go think about how to model that in the roster. But I think we shouldn't. Unfortunately, if we're going to send you a text message, it's also going to send voice to that. So for many people, that's the right answer, but we heard from a few that they also want their landline to be rung. And so I think we're going to send out a separate poll trying to figure out what people want to do for that. And just as a show of hands, or you know, you can use the thumbs up or go on video and use video. How useful was having voice in addition to text and email? Is that a positive thing because you don't read text messages fast, or was that just needless annoyance? So thumbs up for positive thing. And I forget if there's a thumbs down.
There is not.
There's a green check and a red X. We could use that instead.
Okay, why don't you do green check if voice is good, red X if it's not. And I see a lot of people are having trouble finding it anyway.
Neil, I don't think you'd want to limit how many ways it was attempting to catch us in a real event. What we might do is think about the timing of drills so that that reach to all directions is less annoying. That was kind of, I think, early in the morning. I don't recall exactly, but maybe it was 8 a.m. or 9
It was a little before 9, but
yeah.
Definitely before 9.
So sure, I mean, we want to, yeah. I don't think we want to limit the ways that it would try to reach us in a real event.
So Bill, you have an X. You want to throw in your 2 cents? You're muted, Bill.
I sent you a note. I have in an emergency, I do something different, but I don't answer phone calls from numbers I don't recognize. So if the calls were just annoyance, the voice calls were just annoyances.
So I didn't put it on here, but one of the things we did was we made the caller ID number be the CERT phone. So we can try to get everyone to list that in their contacts so it's recognized. It was a random town phone before.
Yep.
Okay, people can take their check marks down now. And that was everything I had on that. Anyone have any comments they want to make about Nixle? Okay, I'm going to move on. Pathways, Victoria.
So Pathways is back again, and yes, I don't expect you guys to read this map. I just wanted to put something exciting there. But they've requested our presence again. You know, I know we haven't done a lot of in-person stuff lately, but you know, once again, Neil is kind of getting stuck with the IC role, and I'm kind of really would like to see somebody else learn how to do it, because you know, we just want to be at least 2 or 3 deep in some of these roles, and I think it would be really beneficial. So if you're interested in Neil, if you're okay having a shadow this year and do it, that's great. I just, you know, I think you know, Neil and Dave do a lot of these events, and you know, you guys are all great certs as well. And so there's no reason why we can't have some of you guys start kind of stepping up and doing some of these events. So the date is May 7th. The time, I just kind of guessed the time. We haven't actually met with the town yet, but I think from last year, Neil, is that time look, it's probably too long, but I think 9 o'clock was what we were going to brief last time. And then is 1300 typical for that, or is it earlier?
I think it's too long and too late. 4 hours is, well, actually 4 hours is about right. We usually tell people to get there at 8 and brief at 8:15 because
Okay.
it takes time for people to get to their stations. The
Okay.
race starts at 9.
Oh, got it. Okay, great. I couldn't find any info. So, so it looks like that'll be a little earlier in the morning, and we'll firm up these details as we get them and able to meet with the town. So we could use, yes, about 15 people. I think the town's also going to be moving our CERT trailer up by Burn Preserve. So, you know, we're going to need kind of all hands on deck for that one. I think that West Glen Barn has something to do with this too. Bruce, go ahead. Welcome, by the way.
Thanks. Have they asked for a sweep again this year? That was a position that they had us do previously.
Yeah, we haven't actually met with whatever her name is yet, but if we had someone who could do a sweep, that would be great.
Sign me up.
Perfect.
Yay.
Thank you, Bruce.
Okay, awesome. Thank you, Bruce. I appreciate your willingness to do that. Elise, the meeting is going to end at 8, and we're having a spring drill planning meeting right after that. So, what
Sorry,
we're gonna
this is
do-
John. I had a question
Oh yeah, go ahead.
on the subject of sweep, because the last time I recall physically doing this was about 3 years ago. It felt like the routes diverge enough to where you might want more than one person that's a sweep, the way it diverges. Do you think that's still true?
Usually the
Yeah,
10K, oh, go ahead.
There's 2 different routes. They are not the same. There's a short one and a long one. So yes,
That's what I remember. So maybe 2 sweeps are needed.
Well, usually when we don't, certainly when we don't have enough people, we just swept the 10K because that was the longer of the 2. And except for one short section, the 10K is an extra loop and, you know, the same route.
Okay. I mean, if it can be structured for one sweep, that's fine. I'm just, let us remember that that characteristic exists in the routes. And
Thank you. I just made a note of it. Yeah, I appreciate that. We'll be sending out a sign up, and we'll see how many people we can get and maybe be able to do that. You know, the town really wants to utilize us. We've talked, you know, numerous times with Parks and Rec, and at every event they'd like to have some kind of CERT presence. And so that really gives us the opportunity to do recruiting, show our, you know, get our name out there, get our faces out there. So really, you know, I encourage you all, because that is something that we've talked about, you know, if we have more activities, we'll be there, you know, things like that. So it would be really beneficial for us as a team to get out there and get, you know, remind everybody of how awesome we are and how much we do for the town in our emergency preparedness. So just think along those lines if you can, that'd be awesome. So I'll send something out probably next week for signups.
Yeah.
I think we're on to Dave Stewart now, right?
We're on my slide, I guess.
Yep.
Okay. I want to actually thank the fire district. They agreed to give license to me and Neil to actually work there with their mapping software. And this are fairly expensive licenses because we haven't updated the CERT membership map since, by my count, 2014. So 8 years of people moving in and out. But we're trying to get the membership map updated, our critical infrastructure survey and routes map updated, rework our zone survey system. This was Bridget's question, I guess, before. We're trying to redo the zone surveys. The old CERT zones are probably going away. They'll linger on a little while to, I don't know, either reduce or encourage confusion. But what we're going to do here is to move to the zone haven evacuation zones. Some of them are a little too big for a survey and some are too small. So we'll probably do some amount of split and combine to generate what we would think of as a zone survey zone, but they will now use the zone haven borders. Bruce, who's on the call, thank you, Bruce, is working on a large animal and sort of a crisis large animal shelters map, a little bit of call it stable infrastructure. And one of the things that I've wanted for a long time is to add a grid to the map so that when you tell me it's out on Arrastradero Road, I have a chance of finding out whether it's on the east end of town or the west end of town. Of those, I've been working on this, and the CERT membership map is pretty complete. There's a little bit of work I'd want to do, but it's just polishing. And the critical infrastructure survey map is pretty much done. I still need a little work with getting the routes drawn on the maps. And then the rest of these are will be coming soon. Hopefully we're going to get the zone haven split and join figured out pretty quickly here. And I can give a quick demo if people want to see what we're doing here.
Yeah, why don't you do that? That'd be great. And then while you're doing that, I just really want to thank Dave, Neil, and Bruce Martin. This is not an easy task. To be honest, I don't know anything. I can't even use the words they use. And we're really lucky to have them on board. And this is something that really we can share with the town. They're doing all of their hazard mitigation planning right now. And these kind of emergency preparedness things really lend to a unified group communication, especially with the town ECC, and just knowing where things are and damage assessment. These are important tools for us as a group and as a district. So I just really want to thank them for their dedication to the group and for handling this GIS mapping project.
I really didn't want to interrupt you while you were saying nice things about me, but you need to let me share my screen.
Oh shoot, sorry. I could have gone on longer too. Okay, hold on.
All right. You should be seeing a map and my pointer sort of over Foothill College. Is that working for everybody?
Yeah, we can see it.
Okay. All right. So the thing that's nice about this is that you can change the base map on it so that if you prefer something like this or imagery or topographic, these are all just different layers that you can set up to generate whatever map you want. And for different kinds of maps, printed maps versus web maps, different sorts of imagery is going to look better or worse. What we've done here so far is we created dots for everybody who's on the CERT roster. And when you zoom in a little bit, this is not the world's fastest program, even on a good day. But when I'm also zooming, it just gets incredibly slow. This is set up to show ham call signs. Oops, didn't want that to come up yet. So you can see, oh man, even changing the scroll here, or the zoom, is gonna just make it work slower. But you can imagine this as a survey map with all of the parcels available on it. If you look up here, you'll see that the call sign for our ham enabled members is available. And this SR is for a supervisor or a recon person. So there's these little tags off of the people. If we put that away, these are the zone haven zones. And we can see where the critical infrastructure is located around town. You can get some sense of what's going on here. The glasses of water are the best I could do for water tanks. There are these bridges which indicate the overpasses. This is the town's municipal yard. You can guess that this is a golf course. This is actually the Poor Clare's Nunnery up on the hill. And what else have we got here? There's some other churches and school infrastructure available. So when you have this available on the web, it's very handy to be able to pop a bunch of these things together. And when somebody says, well, where is the, let's see, what is this? I thought I clicked on one that was going to give me multiple choices. So this will give you more information on the evacuation zone. This is what I was looking for. So this tells you what evacuation zone it's in, but this also tells me that this is where Alice Sakamoto lives, her call sign, latitude and longitude, and that she's actually been in large animal and recon ham supervisor. So all this information is available when we're on the web. Clearly with printed maps, you don't get all of this, but you can decide what sorts of layers you want to present and print those. And then finally, for a lot of this stuff, there are backing spreadsheets that tell you where things are. And then what we're going to be doing is going to what's called the United States National Grid, which is a way of just locating things on the map in, you're familiar with this from a lot of other kinds of indexes where it's how far to the left and how far up it is. So 72, 50, 35, 73, 35, 75, 35, 76, 35. And a lot of our information will have this kind of stuff so that when you're looking for something out on Parissima Road, or Estradero, which sort of snakes around through a bunch of these zones, you will get an idea of where you need to look within, I think this is the 100-meter zone when we zoom in. Anyway, that's the kind of work we've been doing. The pictures are all here. And I'm hoping that this will pretty quickly be available both as printed maps and as web maps at the ARC. Okay. Questions?
You've stunned everyone.
Yeah, well, that's good, I guess.
Yeah, Dave, I have a question now. Is it obvious how we're going to be able to access this?
I'm sorry, who?
Will it be obvious how to access these maps?
Well, so the printed versions will be handed out. That's the simple answer. When we get these to the point where they are scrubbed of all personal information. You know, I don't want to be putting your cell phone number on this map and make it able to click. We'll probably put these things on in a public spot. The name of the company that hosts this is Esri, and they have a way of publishing these things. So we'll send out links if we get to that point, or when we get to that point. Good question.
To go further, we are able to, that's something I'm going to be asking for a project task force for. We're able to link this mapping into a damage assessment tool that we can use as well when we're out in the field, and that will update. It will gather information even when it's offline, and then if you go to an area that has Wi-Fi, it will update all the information. So we're looking at utilizing things off of this Esri platform that we already have. But there's tons of different damage assessment tools we can use. So one of the things we're going to be looking at, which I think Neil is going to help spearhead, not that he needs another project, but I think it's something that he's been involved with on a county level. We're going to be asking for a project group to help kind of look at that and see what's our best. Bye, Elise. Thank you for coming. What our best avenue is for that. So this is a great start to even better things, and something that we definitely desperately needed. So again, thank you.
Any other questions? Sorry, I'm looking for the slide deck for the last slide. There it is. So is that showing calendar subscriptions?
Yes.
Okay. So I just wanted to put this out there. Victoria keeps a calendar of all of our events, which I think is great. And I just wish I would have known about it earlier. And the thing about subscribing to a calendar is, assuming you use a calendar like iOS or Apple or Google or Microsoft, you can automatically have any event that Victoria publishes show up on your calendar, which is a magical and powerful and wonderful thing. And I'm not going to talk about it in detail, but there's a URL up there, and it's linked on the CERT website now. So you can just go there and look at it. And I'm happy to give tech support for anyone who wants to subscribe to the calendar and has trouble figuring it out from the web page, because that'll help me fix the web page. And so I urge everyone to do this, because I don't know about you, but I am bad about going out to the website and looking for what events there are. And so this way they magically show up and remind me. Any questions?
And I apologize. I apologize because I thought that I had given the right calendar to Neil and Dave when we set this up before. So I've been working on that for the past year, and everything's all nicely on there. It has the link to get on the Zoom meeting and a reminder. And I was like so proud of myself. And then I realized, I started talking to them about it, and they're like, what are you talking about? What calendar? I was like, oh, so my apologies. This is why we need an actual tech person at our district, because I just suck at this. So I really do urge you to do that too. Thank you to Neil and Dave as always, because I couldn't even explain to you guys how you could do this, but there's not a lot on it right this second, because we don't, I mean, there's stuff on it, but so just you'll see that stuff pop up, and there'll be the easy, just click on that. It opens it up. You get the Zoom link, get on the Zoom, and it makes it pretty user friendly. So thank you for that, Neil and Dave.
Okay, so that's the last thing we have. Anyone else have anything they'd like to chat about?
I'll say that if anyone wants to assist with some of this mapping, certainly welcome. Let me know.
Hi, Dave. This is John. I'll be interested in that. I can email you directly?
Yeah, please. I will warn you that the mapping is a lot more fun than the data collection, and we need both.
All righty.
Okay, so I know we have a soups meeting after this, but we also said it was going to be at 8 o'clock. I don't think everyone is on right now, so we should probably just, pause for 20 minutes. Everyone can get up and stretch, and then we'll start at 8. Does that work?
Yep, it sure does. So for those of you that are taking off, you're welcome to stay. But if you want to take off, thank you for coming. Really appreciate you guys coming out. We've got a lot of exciting things coming up. So look for some emails from me for some upcoming needs and events. Also too, I'm going to be sending out an ask to help out the emergency preparedness fair that we're having. We did a wildfire one in May. We're doing an emergency preparedness one for all hazards coming up here in April, the end of April, April 30th. So we were asked by the town and town council to have quite a good CERT presence. So, they're asking for us to talk about CERT, show off CERT. So, be thinking about some ideas you guys have that we could do, during that time frame. We have it's going to be from about 10 a.m. to 1 p.m. We'll have the Earth Shakeout trailer there, so people can go and learn about how to go into a trailer. Basically, it shakes you like an earthquake, and then it shows you how to mount everything and how things fall and how to prevent that from happening. So we've got a lot of really cool things that we have out there. But I love some help with the CERT table and then just overall running of the program. And the more certs we can get out there, the better. So spread the word if you have other cert friends, but I will send out a volunteer ask as well, probably early next week.
Okay, I just went to CERT period LHA LAH CFD-org extra information calendar, and I just didn't get it.
So
It has brush shipping and removal program registration page. And the
that was what
page,
happened to the calendar thing. Okay,
yeah.
hold on. Let me hold the phone. I'm going to pull up his slide and I'm going to see if I can copy and paste it.
Yeah, I used the URL on his slide. It worked for me, so.
It did. Okay.
Yeah.
It did work for you?
Yeah, it did.
Eduardo, I'm going to send it to you on the chat.
Okay.
Okay, and see if that, if I did it. Oh yeah, sorry, everybody else did. I'm just slow, but I sent it, yeah. It's on the chat, and look it up and see if that comes up for you.
Okay, well, I am going to take the break and see everyone at 8.
Okay, that sounds good.
I got it. The same URL.
What's it doing, Eduardo?
Okay, it's bringing me to brush shipping and removal program, defensible space brushing, shipping and debris removal program, FAQ, Los Altos Hills County Fire District, commission meetings, Los Altos Hills County Fire District, application for Fire District Commission, financial audit, community report, OK card.
You're on the homepage. Are you going on your phone?
Yeah, I'm doing it on my phone.
Can you try doing it on your desktop and see what happens?
Okay, I will do it in my desktop and see what happens.
Yeah, because I'm wondering if maybe that's
maybe. Bill, Bill was in the. Okay. Okay. Okay.
John, did you get the pictures I sent you? On your phone? I think you're muted. I don't know if you
Yeah.
were trying to talk. Yeah.
Sorry, yeah, I was in the middle of trying the calendar. So I did get the pictures. They didn't necessarily jog a memory for me.
Okay.
Yeah.
So I kind of sent you some, oh wait, here, I'm gonna send you a couple more of kind of what's in it.
Okay.
So you kind of have an idea, and I think that the some of these things we already have like digitally. So it's just going to be a matter of kind of putting it together and what makes sense.
Yeah, I mean, I noticed it looks like Dave Evans was connected with this.
Yeah, I have not been able to get anything from him, and I think somebody asked him and he said he didn't have it. He didn't have an actual, so I don't know if he just, I don't know how he did it, or yeah.
Okay.
Unless somebody's friends with
Okay.
him. I thought, didn't he move?
Yeah,
Yeah.
Dave and
Dave, you
Sonny
reached
moved
out to
away a
him,
while
right?
ago.
Yeah. Were you the one that reached out to him? I might have had you, I thought somebody did.
Okay, I got it.
Oh, good,
But-
okay.
But I just don't know, because I opened the calendar with file new calendar subscription, paste the URL in, but the problem is I do it with my phone.
So once you do on the desktop, it should show up on your phone.
I don't know.
Dave, do you know how to tell him to get it on his, how to get it on his phone?
No. And
Awesome.
particularly, he's probably an iPhone user.
Yep.
Yeah.
Okay, so if you go into, let's see, how did I do this before? So is it loaded onto your, so do you have it on your desktop in your iCal now, Eduardo?
I have it on my desktop on the CERT side, but I only use the calendar in the iPhone.
Right.
Do you have an
So-
Apple
just-
desktop?
Yes, I have an Apple desktop. Right.
I'm kind of going through those motions myself. I'm going through it with an Apple laptop right now, trying to add it to the calendar. And if I successfully do that, I'm assuming it will show up on my iPhone.
Yes, that's what I was trying to say. Yes, it should, because it should be just, it should be a calendar that comes up.
Okay. File new subscription. File.
I'll be
open your
right back.
calendar. Ah.
Okay. So I just now subscribed on my MacBook, and it showed up on the calendar app there. I'm going to look at it on the phone.
So how did you do it?
Well, I went to the website that they gave us, and if you got to that page, which was the URL that ended with extra information /calendar, at the top of that, there was a big long URL. And if you scroll down, there were some instructions for different platforms, and there was an instruction for Apple and Mac. And so I just walked through that, open the calendar app, do the file, new subscription, go back up and copy that long URL into the creation of the calendar subscription. And it also
Okay, all right.
suggested you make it refresh every day, not every week, which I did. So
Okay, thank you very much. Appreciate it.
I came in late. What's the 8 o'clock meeting?
CERT supervisors.
Okay.
And to discuss the scripts for the training drill.
Okay.
I'm gonna leave the meeting. So, sorry, guys.
Is it a different URL for the 8 o'clock meeting?
I think it's the same. They're going to hold the Zoom open for that.
Okay.
Eduardo, did you, oh, is you gone? I was going to see if he succeeded getting it on his phone. Looks like I did by way of doing it on the MacBook. Okay. All right, I'm going to drop as well. See you.
Okay.
Dave, did I ever send you a calendar invite for the 1st of April? I don't think I did I?
Hang on, let me scroll back to the Zoom meeting. I'm making a map for Eduardo. What was the question?
I answered my own question, so never mind. I didn't.
Oh, okay.
Sorry. I'm gonna do it right now.
Oh, April 1st was the Wi-Fi installation thing.
Yeah.
I don't show.
No,
a
I
meeting
didn't do
on
it.
April 1st.
Yeah, no, it's not there. So let me do it real quick. Okay.
Dave, I have a question for you,
For who?
for Dave.
Oh, go ahead.
Yeah, go ahead, Larry.
Okay.
You gotta remember, I'm almost as deaf as you are, and I don't, I don't have hearing
Yeah, that
aids
makes a
yet.
difference, doesn't it? I was working with Janice this afternoon and realized I don't have access to the templates that you have been created, that were created as a standard for the presentations.
Yeah.
Is that available, or how do we do it?
Let me sort of. So the whole Google sharing thing is set up with two different systems. One is our CERT email system, you know, the LAHCFD CERT mailing. So if you're in there, you can view everything that's in our shared Google Drive. And the reason I'm staring at the other screen here is that you're not one of the editors on any of this stuff. And then I tried to add you, Larry. Oh, it'll take your PAC. So I have a PAC Bell address for you, your MIT address, and wait a minute.
While you're looking that up, can I throw something in, Dave?
Sure.
So one of the things that trips people up is what matters is what Google account you are logged into while you try to access the shared file store.
Yeah, I was getting to that. I'm glad you jumped in. So whichever account we set up as you're sharing, and I'm about to set up your MIT address so that as you log in to Google with your MIT address, then you'll have those privileges. But if you log in with your Gmail address or your PAC Bell address or any other address, you're a different person as far as Google's concerned. But I'm about to let you be an editor on all of the CERT shared files. I think it's all.
Okay, then the other half of that question was, rather than robbing somebody else's file to get the header and footer images that were used, is there going to be a generic example of here's what you use to put your text on for the event in May?
So I looked that up this afternoon because I had that question. And there is now in the 2022-05 drill presentations thing, a CERT slide template, which we decided we were going to use. And I was kind of looking for something that would say, open a new slide deck using this template, and it turns out that doesn't seem to work. What does work is you just make a copy of the template and then save it.
Okay.
Don't call it a template, and then it's not a template.
Sounds familiar.
All this Google stuff is free because you get what you pay for.
Yes, and doesn't it sound so familiar? Gosh,
Yeah.
the first computer I played with in 1960 had that problem, and it has never gone away.
Yeah, and like I uploaded Janice's check-in and staging PowerPoint briefing whenever we did this a month ago. And it turns out I can reassign ownership. I'm almost afraid to do it because at this point it'll make it so that neither Janice nor I can get to it. But it is possible to even reassign ownership on this stuff.
Well, certainly we got in today, and once you allowed us to get in, we could make changes. But that was what led to us wanting to have it include the changes. Well, of course, I'm backing up a bit. Do we know at this point what we want to have as header and footer and introductory or front page for this?
I'm kind of waiting for Neil or Victoria to jump in there, but I think the template here, let's see if I can still share screen. Oh, that's cool. Okay. So this is the new template. See if this shows up for everybody. What are you seeing? I can't quite tell what I'm sharing right now.
A list of the various items in the
Okay.
in the package.
Yeah, you're in the right spot.
Okay, there's the incident commander version.
Yeah, so this is just the template.
I want to ask him if he got my update.
And I copied it over, for instance, to the planning and didn't, get rid of the green stripe, the CERT logo. This bottom piece was on the first page, but I had to literally do a select, copy, paste to get it on the rest of my sheets.
Yeah. I guess the real question is, what should the header look like?
No, this, I think Steve built this, but this was a fine header, as near as I could tell.
Okay.
It's where's the, oh man. Even with two screens, I'm just overloaded. Yeah, so, this is the, oh, there we go. Now I can at least see what I'm sharing. But this is the template that I use. So I just copied this using file, make a copy.
Okay.
And then I, wiped out incident commander and this lead and put in my own stuff.
Created, that's what I would expect would be done. I just wasn't sure how to access it.
Well, the thing I'm more familiar with is Microsoft PowerPoint, where if you're dealing with a template file, one of the things that you can do is to, open as a regular slide deck from the template. But I don't see that here. So maybe I just don't know what I'm doing. That's completely possible.
Well, we're getting closer, that's for sure.
But I think if we, follow this template, then the stuff will look more or less alike. And I deleted mine, but the template I used is the one I often use in CERT for slide presentations, and it prints horribly. It looks nice on screen, but it's bad for printing, and Neil pointed out that we wanted to hand all this stuff out, so doing something that would print well was important.
Sure.
Okay.
Well, it's 8:05.
Yep, let's start it up here. What do you want me to go over? Are we just gonna show our presentations and review them again? Is that what kind of what we had on the agenda for tonight? That's what I remember.
I hope not. I think the new one we have is Bridget's Communications and Logistics.
Okay,
I am not seeing Amita's. Am I missing it?
no, I don't see Amita's either.
Yeah, Mita's not in the participants.
So Bridget, do you want us to just put it up, or shall we give you screen share and let you do it? You're muted.
Or
Bridget.
I know, you can put it up if you want, and I'll go click. I have to open Drive and select it, and of course I was practicing earlier. Oh, I have it. You want me to do it?
Sure, because that way you still own it.
Okay. Of course, you're going to see all my tabs. That's unfortunate. Okay, screen share. Do you have to make me the host or something?
You're already
Yeah.
a co-host. You should be able to share.
Choose a file.
Should be that green button.
There it is. Okay, thank you.
Sure.
Do it, do it. Okay. Okay, so before I start, I wanted to say that this is not a final, I think there's some tweaks that can be done, because when I was copying what was written, I think Neil, you wrote it, right? And then Dave had some like question marks. So I left some of the question marks, and I don't know which one of you did the question marks. So you'll find that there's like some question marks or blanks. I just wanted to forewarn you. And there's some things I don't know, which I would like to know before I have to present this to a group. I'd like to be physically in the space and say this, so I'm sure of where I'm pointing at, but that's so okay. So this is the communications team presentation. The CERT communications team is responsible for all incoming and outgoing, that should be one word, communications, including the phone, text, and the GMRS radio traffic, but it works closely with the ham operators in the ARC. The responsibilities of the communications team on the day of the incident, especially because they report to the operations lead, are they issue the general mobile radio service radios to all the staff that need it, and they confirm with the logistics facilities coordinator that the phone system is operational. They check out and log all the radios to the ARC command staff and assign frequencies as necessary to facilitate the operations. And I'm not sure what that means, so maybe someone could explain that. They attempt.
It's really simple for the GMRS. It's just to make sure every one of the radios is on the same channel.
Okay, so maybe I'll change that. So, and they attempt to make contact with the Los Altos Hills Emergency Operations Command that communicates with them at this telephone number. The other things that they have responsibilities for are installing, activating, and maintaining the telephone system for the ARC.
By the way, I think that number is old, and you probably copied it right out of the procedures.
I didn't even put it in here because I figured that was true.
So let me go update the procedures, but you should make a note to update.
Oh, the
this.
telephone number.
Yeah.
Yeah, the telephone number. Great. Thank you.
And I think it was the next slide that talked about the phone system, or is it this slide?
Is this slide? Oh, the Ingenious system?
Yeah.
It's this slide. But there's no.
Yeah, so the Ingenious system won't work with the current ARC setup. So.
Oh, interesting. Okay.
So we have a replacement in mind, but it's not there yet.
So I should take that out.
Yeah.
Okay. So the location for the communications team is inside the ARC on the left side near the GMRS radios. The materials you'll need are pretty straightforward. You will find most of them in the Incident Commander plastic bin. Of course, you need a vest and reports and pens and Form 213. And you have these boxes, red and green, which red is for immediate action and green is for routine communication needs. And of course, the CERT roster, which you will get from the printed forms box. Your immediate actions within the first hour are put on the vest and review the communications team job description. You set up your workstation and you review your position responsibilities. You report to the incident commander that your position is operational, and then you use the position log form to describe your actions taken during your shift. For non-critical information received on phone, text, radio, log it on the general message form 213. For critical information received by these same methods, you fill out a 3-part form, and the first page goes to the scribe, the second page to ham radio, and you keep the third page for your records. Important, advise the incident commander of all emergency and urgent messages. The continuing
So,
action.
Neil, you want to jump in here and update that? Or do you
Sure.
want me to talk about it?
Oh, go ahead and talk about it. I made a note that we have to update the procedures.
Yeah, okay. So we used to use a 3-part form. And what we've moved over to now is we're going to have, I think we have as many as 3 copiers available.
Oh,
So
okay.
rather than, because the 3-part forms weren't working very well for us. You know, the third form was basically illegible and the second one was only barely readable. So
I remember that.
by putting them on the copier and making 3 copies when you get an incident report, that way they can go to the scribe to ham radio, really?
Yeah, I know. I didn't know what that meant. What does that mean?
Yeah, that doesn't make sense. Well, so it would be recon unless, but it really wants to go to scribe and probably incident command or operations.
Yeah, I would have said ops.
Yeah.
Okay.
I have a question. I wonder if it might be worth adding, keeping a message log so that you have a permanent record of all the various information that came in.
I think it's there.
Okay, I didn't see it on the,
Well, there's a non-critical is to be logged on the general message form. So back one.
Yeah, Larry's saying, so the general message form has the information for that one message. Larry is suggesting a log of all the messages so you can have an index, basically. Is
Yeah,
that correct, Larry?
I thought that was the use position log form to describe your actions.
Yeah.
And
that's
that
that's
it
your
doesn't
own action.
explicitly say that it would be good to log each of the communications on that form.
My experience in the past was that someone would come up, did you get that message half an hour ago?
Yes.
And it was very nice to be able to go back to the log a half hour and say, yeah, it came in by GMRS or not.
Uh-huh.
So Bridget, I think you missed last week when we were making a comment to a lot of the groups.
I was there.
Oh, okay. And I think I'm going to make a similar kind of comment, which is, first of all, you copy things out of position guide, and the position guide is wrong or out of date. So we need to fix that separately.
Yes, you do.
but I think this is too much detail. I
Okay,
think,
I tried to reduce it, but I wasn't sure where to reduce it.
yeah, so I think, especially because we're trying to keep it to 10 minutes, right? You know, and so you 5 minutes for each of the two positions is what is this position all about? Right. And what is it trying to do? What is it responsible for? You know, what kinds of things you want to do, not in the weeds of here's what you have to do in the first hour. And I think if you look at Dave's, it's a pretty good example of what that's all about.
Okay, so do you not want the headings for and within a description of the, because there's repetition, right?
Yeah. So, you know, I think the right level of detail is, you know, you're responsible for giving out and managing radios is a reasonable bullet point.
Right.
Right. But not down to, and the GRS is logged on this form and whatever. And I don't think we ever have to talk about put on your vest.
Yeah, I know. I know. That's why I tried to go, of course, you put on your vest. Okay.
Those are my 2 cents. You know, I think most of the other people agreed that was the right way to go.
Right. I
Yeah.
heard that.
Well, and that's why we're having this meeting in advance, because I think the presentations have gotten a lot better. Janice gave us an excellent example 2 meetings ago or 1 meeting ago. And I, you know, threw all my old stuff away and started over based on
So how
what
would
I
you
learned from
suggest
watching her.
doing that? Because I've never had either one of these positions. I should just not do repetitious stuff, get rid of the repetition.
Again, I'd say focus on what is this position about and what are they responsible for? And then separately, you know, who do they work with? So I'm making this up, so you don't have to do it this way, but you know, you're responsible for you being communication, sorry, you know, is responsible for getting messages from the outside world and routing it to the proper place within the arc.
Okay, so that seems like you don't need a whole presentation for it. What do you want to communicate to the group when you're telling them what the responsibilities are? That's a very, you know, that's a 1-sentence thing. So we're going to be at the arc explaining this to them. Do we want to be pointing at bins or showing where the radio is? Or
May I offer a suggestion?
yes.
I told Neil that I was going to be available for anyone who wanted to have a chance to practice or to explore the various positions so that I could learn more about them. And so I offer myself as a guinea pig. If you'd like to, we could get together by Zoom and work through some of these things. I helped Janice with hers, and I'd be happy to help you if you like.
Okay, that sounds good, actually, since you have so much experience.
Well,
and I hope you all heard how we tried to steal all the kudos from Janice for the presentation.
Yes.
She's too close to me. I can't say anything.
Well, and since I revamped mine and it's now down to, I think, only about 4 or 5 pages, I would like to go through mine and you guys can all throw rocks at that and maybe that will help, you know,
So
help
the
you
rest,
understand
the
what.
rest of my presentation is basically what's in the descriptions. So you're
Okay.
saying, like on logistics, this is all we really need to explain it to people, right?
Well, I'd say that's a big part of it. And I would say the second part is, you know, who do you work with is the other interesting thing. And, you know, what, I mean, this, that slide that you had said kind of a high level view.
Yes.
I would also give some, you know, we get food and water if needed. We could get gasoline for the generator.
That's what I was wondering. Okay.
You know, so some examples to bring it home to folks would be what I would want if I was trying to come back up to speed. That's my focus.
Yes, well, I worried about that too, because here on this slide, it says the logistics team needs to establish priorities for equipment and service allocations, but based on what? Right? I mean,
Yeah, it's based on talking with the IC, getting the priorities from the IC.
okay.
So IC sets policies and logistics going to say, hey, he wants 8 things. I can only do 1 thing at a time. here's the order I'm going to do it.
Okay, so the IC would know what was happening based on the urgent messages from the communications, and they would be coordinating with logistics to provide equipment?
Yeah, or I'd word it the other way, which is the IC owns setting priorities. So if, logistics is asked for 8 things, it can't do 8 things, right? IC has already said, I want to deal with Dave's kitty cat in the tree first, and the mayor's broken water main second, and that, Drew's house on fire third, and, and then logistics can figure out what they need to do to support that. Like generator fuel might be at the top if we have no power, because without power, we can't do anything else or whatever else. But
Okay, this one I thought was really funny.
Yeah.
I don't know what that means. I mean, I know what it means, but maybe it isn't necessary.
well, I think Dave, who was working on the map before, has a more exact thing for that, but I don't think you have to do location of duties at all, because you're going to be waving at the logistics area.
Right, exactly.
Yeah.
And the materials are sort of pretty straightforward.
And that map's out of date too. Need to work on that.
And I actually changed this. I said the necessary clerical supplies like. So I didn't do much changing.
I have a quick question. Who pays when we send somebody out to get groceries or things of that sort? Is that going to come off individual credit cards or cash for that matter? Or is there
No,
a,
we'll have to put that in place, but it should be the district paying for that stuff.
Well, at least previously, so I'm happy with that answer. Previously, I don't think we ever worked out who's paying.
Yeah, I think
So it's a
should be
good
district.
question.
It is a very good question. So I'm going to put that on my list of questions for Jay, but I would anticipate that if you guys have a response, that we would be, if able to respond as well, and maybe we need to put a card in place for that usage. So thank you. That's a really good point. So previously, Neil, was it, well, I mean, you guys have really never had to do that, right? But was the thought process that you guys would use your own stuff, or can you just give me some background? Okay.
To the best of my knowledge, I have never heard who pays discussed.
Yeah, I was assumed it was save your receipts and get reimbursed later.
Oh, yeah, that makes sense.
But again, to the best of my knowledge, the district has never volunteered. And in theory, if we are activated and the town has an emergency declaration, a lot of this becomes FEMA reimbursable.
It does. Yeah, that's why I think we need to probably work on that and figure out what's the less messy way. Might even have to be the town that has that. Okay.
I had a question about that too. In a really terrible incident, will there be anybody to talk to in the town?
Yes, if only other volunteers.
Yes, so they're required by the government, as being government workers, they have a responsibility to be activated. They have to come to the EOC. Now, with that being said, sometimes people don't feel comfortable and they'll quit right on the spot. Literally, because people don't want to go there.
Or the roads are impassable and there's just no way to get there.
Right. So there's definitely, yeah. So I think, hopefully with what the town is doing with all their technology and kind of revamping some things, that they can create some kind of environment where they can do things virtually. Because I think that's kind of, another plus. But yes, Neil's correct. It's going to be a consortium of town volunteers, district staff, and volunteers. I'm sorry, and town staff. Did I say town
And
staff?
council members.
one more rock to throw into the discussion? Credit cards won't work if the power is off.
It depends on where things are.
Okay. My point would be a couple $100 in a lockbox in the corner might not be a bad idea.
Ooh, yeah, I volunteer to keep that at my house.
I thought you might. Enough said.
Okay, let the note show Dave is funding the lockbox.
Perfect. I read it down right now.
It'll be very safe here.
Okay. Bridget, thank you for your work on that.
Okay, I
I know
did change
sometimes
it some.
it's hard though, yeah, because we've got new things and, if you haven't done it before, so this is cool that you took it on and I think you did a great job. Yeah, I think you should be proud of yourself. And Larry,
Yeah.
thank you for offering to be the guinea pig.
Yeah,
Hey, Bridget, when you set this up, you said you used Photoshop to make the slides?
I did, yes.
So if you don't mind, I can't copy and paste from it because it's all image, but it'd be really nice if you just did it directly in slides instead of.
Yeah, well, I didn't even know anything about slides, so we're just lucky that I figured it out. Was it yesterday?
I'm impressed you managed to make Photoshop do all this. That's
Well,
actually much harder.
I'm a
Me too.
Photoshop professional at some level, so yeah, it was just.
Oh,
easy.
yeah, wow. That's pretty impressive.
Okay, that's dangerous that
Whoa,
you admitted
yeah,
that. 'cause
I was gonna say, you're in trouble now.
Let's see, what do I have on my list I can sign Bridget up to do with Photoshop?
She can redo the map for the ARC layout. Because I
don't
am a
know.
horrible GIMP user and ugh, I hate it, but it's the only thing I know how to use.
So Neil, I can't do it. I can't do it in slides. I saw how it was possible to edit the, edit in Drive. So
Perfect, thank you.
you're welcome.
So the next one was gonna be Amita, right?
Yeah.
Okay, I guess she couldn't make it. Is there anything else that we need to discuss tonight?
I'd like to run through mine and get feedback.
Okay,
Let's see, planning Google Slides. That looks promising. You guys see my screen?
yep.
Okay. So I've got 5 slides here and I came at it a lot less of, from the book. This is the overview slide that basically says, here's what we do in planning. We gather information, we try to organize it so it makes some sense. We work on creating a plan and we make sure that we're reporting status information to the town EOC. Gathering information is all about getting copied on the standard forms. A lot of our initial work is scripted on these template forms like the critical infrastructure surveys, the zone surveys, and we issue periodic status reports to the EOC on some other templates. There's also the unscripted stuff that there's a form for that too, which is trouble spots become incident reports no matter where they come in, and we log those. And requests from the EOC and authorities come in as message forms. What was the number on that, Neil?
The message, I'm sorry, I was updating the comm system thing.
Yeah.
What was the question?
Stuff that's not, if it came in through comms and it's not, actually I should be asking Bridget. If it comes in from comms and it's not an incident report, what form does it go on?
213 message form.
Yeah.
Okay. So this is how we gather information, and a lot of this is we're expecting a lot of the incoming information to get run over the copier, and then a copy of this goes to the scribe. Scribe manages what we think of as the big picture on the side of the ARC. We have a big map and we are mapping out the incident report locations. We keep a big list of incidents on poster paper with their status and copies of incident reports on a clipboard so that people can review it if they need to. And then we also have status of all this scripted work. Critical infrastructure, we monitor how far it's completed and potentially any issues that have popped up, and the zone survey completion. The information technology group is going to distill this situation report and get them down to town. One of the other objectives of the planning function is to continually assess the situation and arrange periodic meetings with the leadership to generate and update an overall plan. The initial plan will certainly be chaotic, but as we get into the second or third hour, we should be having discussions with the incident commander around, with the rest of the leadership group around what are our priorities and how are we attacking them, what are our resources and what are our limitations. We make sure that the IC and ops are updated on major changes in the situation. That is to say, a major incident report comes in, and recommend strategy and tactics based on objectives. The idea of all this create a plan is that ops leadership and IC are bombarded with a lot of information, and you want a group that's going to sit off to a little bit to the side and try to make sense of it and come up with a plan. They don't drive the plan in the sense that the IC is responsible for approving and modifying, but somebody needs to sit down and figure out what are we really trying to get done here. And then our final major responsibility is getting reports off to the town emergency operations center. We have an information technology or IT group that is responsible for operating the computers that are mostly used for EOC communication. Either we can use email if the internet is up, or we print and use the Pony Express, or come up with some USB sticks and run those back and forth to town. And make sure that we're forwarding town relevant incident reports. You know, the kitty cat up a tree the town doesn't care about, but if a major freeway bridge is down, we want to actually just send them the incident report. And then the town has asked for distilled reports every 2 to 4 hours that are essentially tallying up the incident reports by severity and location, critical infrastructure reports, and the zone surveys. And then because we're nerds, we also help with copiers, Wi-Fi, phones, chargers, other stuff that needs doing. Now, the thing that I thought might go into this is a little bit more description of the paper and how it actually gets moved, you know, more of a how than a what. Interested in people's feedback.
I think
You're
it's
all on
great.
mute.
I think it's great.
You always say that about everything I do.
Paper trail, do you want to expand on what you mean by paper?
Well, so Victoria is close to finalizing getting Wi-Fi out to the ARC for the first time in about 6 years. So assuming the internet is up, we have in the past emailed all of this stuff and thrown it on a scanner and or just email the text to town. But if we get you know, no internet, we can still use the computers locally to essentially print all this stuff and send a Pony Express run out to the town EOC. Does that answer the question?
Yeah, it does.
Okay. We've talked about using USB sticks, which would work if we actually had, you know, a pile of, I don't know, 5, 10 USB sticks at the ARC. Maybe we should add that to our toy list.
Would you like Janice to cover her part again? She has some changes.
Not, they're only minor.
Okay, then let it ride.
All right.
Okay. So we've got, let's see, no slurs on Amida, but you know, all of the big ones we have a draft of.
Yep.
And if we didn't do demob and spontaneous volunteer, probably no one would notice. So,
Probably not.
oh, sorry, it wasn't demob, it was spontaneous volunteer and something else.
Yeah, what was that?
Oh, giveaways.
Oh, right.
Donation.
Volunteer items, whatever they would call that.
Unsolicited donations or.
Yeah.
There you
donations.
go.
You know, you mentioned that, and I have one question about the description of the logistics where they give out, or is it communications? There was 2 lines, give this, the radios and whatnot, and what they supplies to CERT members. And then the next line was give the same things to CERT members only. Is there an issue with giving things to people who just show up randomly? For the volunteers, I would guess it would be.
We really only want the radios on, not extremely limited, but basically leadership roles. Otherwise, at least on the main channel, otherwise it just gets unusable.
So there is a distinction. Some supplies can go to volunteers, but certain specific supplies only go to certain members.
Yeah, I'm trying to figure out how to word it, but it's basically we want a radio per section or team just for easier communication around the arc.
Brings up a question I've been wanting to ask, and that is, the FRS and GMRS radios can get really busy from families using them on GMRS frequencies with no idea that they aren't supposed to. And so is there a suggestive way we could deal with the fact that there might be an enormous number of people during an emergency talking about how do they get their car past intersection X or Y?
Well, the good news is GMRS has extremely limited range. So it would have to be people pretty close to the arc to interfere with us. And we've never seen it up to now. And if you listen to most of the GMRS channels, they're not terribly busy. But really what we need is luckily we're all in a small enough area that if we need to change channels, we can. And just walk around and say, change the channel, whatever.
Yeah, or just wait for a moment's quiet. Yeah, okay. Thank you.
So I'm going to work on mine. When do we get back together again? Do you want to hear it again? Do you want to review it independently? Just reading it, or how do you want to do it? We have like 2 months left, right?
Yeah, we have 2 months, but we have to do some other, like some logistical planning, I think, with it too, right? So do you guys want to do another 2 weeks and then kind of firm up the presentations, and then we can figure out how we're going to disseminate them and maybe put a better plan together about how we're going to get the group rolling through and whatnot.
You mentioned that this was going to be given, the presentation was going to be given to the teen CERTs. When do you think that might occur?
Thank you, Larry. I kept thinking of something I needed to say, and that was it. Oh, God bless you. You have no idea. Okay, so that's our own Larry Carr right there, everybody.
Very own Larry Carr.
I think it was, thank God. Thank God for all of you. You're my brains. Okay, I think it was, let me look again. I think they asked to do it April 24th.
Okay.
I'm sorry, 23rd.
23rd.
It is a Saturday.
23rd, Teen CERT ARC Review Run Through. It's
That's
on my
great.
calendar.
It is on your calendar. Is that something that you guys are all okay with doing, to do a dry run?
I think it would be the best time to try and find out how this would, does it all work the way we think it would?
Yeah, yeah.
I go on jury duty April 11th, so I may be out of this game, but we'll see.
Yeah.
Well, let's just cross our fingers that they find somebody else that they can torture with that assignment there.
I've been asked to be jury duties 4 times, and they've scared them away all 4 times. So
Nice. Okay. We'll keep our fingers crossed for that one then.
Yeah. So I have a business event on that day starting at 10. So that's, I'd have to I'm not even sure I can change it. It's like National Scrapbook Day. You'll love that. What is?
Oh, that's exciting. I'd rather be at that.
Well, if I'm not on jury duty, that's one of the reasons
yeah, there you
why
go.
I'm working on learning the different positions. If
There you
I'm not
go.
on jury duty, I could take on your task.
Okay, sounds good to me.
Do they
especially
have
since
jury
you can help
duty
me
on
with-
Saturdays?
Well,
No.
no, but I don't know what they do to people if they, my luck would be they'd lock us up.
Yeah, I don't think so.
No, I don't either. But at any rate, that's a good point. I could, it's new to me figuring out how to do that, but I certainly, you're right. By then I could just simply do it. But that gives me another reason to work with you
Yeah.
to.
It
see
does,
what
but
we
I
can
also
do.
need to do it myself one time, so.
Oh, sure.
Yeah, so you'll,
Although I'm good at winging it,
yeah, but we can run through it too, Bridget, like we can have another meeting, right? And we'll maybe at the next meeting, do you guys think in a couple weeks it'll give you time to work on it and then we can come back together?
yeah,
And
I can
just
come back in
review?
2 weeks. I'll be out of the country in 3 weeks.
Okay, so let's do that then. Does that work
Or we
for,
can do 2 weeks or 4 weeks.
okay, let's do 2. 4 makes me just a little nervous just because I like to be able to print, we have to print out things, blah, blah, blah. Yeah. Does that work for you, Steve Kellum? Are you even there?
I'm here.
Ah,
I'm
he's
checking my,
alive. Good.
yeah, just really.
Can you do April 23rd?
I'm checking. Which month? May?
Wait.
April 23rd.
Oh,
Calendar's right there.
It looks open.
Okay, so I think for them, we'll probably do an 11 o'clock. They're allergic to anything before that.
really? Not me.
No, but the teens are. 8 o'clock, they start to break out in hives. 9 o'clock, a little better. 11's, I think, their sweet spot. So if we do 11, is that going to mess up any other people's schedules?
Well, I just wanted to ask, Bridget said she's busy after 9:30. Is there a time when you're not busy?
It's a workshop event at my house from 10 to like 9 at night. So
Okay,
I could step out, though. These people all know my house and I know them very well. I could step out. So if you wanted me to step out at a specific time to come and do the presentation, I could probably do that.
well, I would argue we can do you first and then you have the most definite time.
Oh,
that
okay, sure.
makes sense.
Yep. I just
Is
put
that-
somebody in charge and tell them I'll be back.
Okay, I'm gonna make note of that too. Bridget first, okay. Okay, I'm gonna send out a reminder email about that. Say that again, Steve, was that you?
What's the title? Purpose?
So we're gonna do a run through of this, of the rules and review for the teen certs. To give us give them a kind of an intro, which is a great review to how the ARC works, and then the rules there, and then it'll give you guys a chance to do a little run through and get comfy with it.
Just 11 to noon, 11 to 1 or what?
Probably 11 to 1.
Okay.
You mentioned something that sounds
Or at
different.
town hall.
If
We'll do
I
it the ARC.
understood what you just
Yeah.
said, you would have Bridget present first to everyone. Originally, I thought there were going to be people at each station rotating around,
Yes, that's what I thought too.
but you just said Bridget would come in and give her presentation and go home.
Well,
Is
for the teen certs, do we need more than one group? I don't think we have
Yeah,
that many of
I
them.
don't think, yeah, I don't think,
Okay.
we do have 30.
That's nice.
However, on a Saturday, there's usually track and all kinds of stuff. So I imagine we'll get less. Yeah, I don't think it'll be a problem to do everyone in a group, even if we had 15.
Okay, I just wanted to make sure.
No, thank you. That's definitely good logistical question. I think that's probably best to have them go with the, in pairs. If we have 30 and we're like, right, then we may have to maybe just have Bridget present to the whole entire group and then we can, yeah, you know what? We can adapt and overcome. If that's the worst that's gonna happen to us that day, then I'm happy. Okay, cool. So next meeting dates, if we're looking at 2 weeks, I think that's what, April, is that? No, is that the 31st?
30th is
30th. Does that work for anybody or not work for anybody?
Works for me.
calendar.
Okay,
Of March is okay with me.
okay, good. How about you, Cars? You okay with that?
Is that 7 or 8 o'clock?
It doesn't help to say yes when you're muted, but yes.
I actually read your
I
lips.
can tell the
It did kind of-
difference.
Yeah, I could read your lips too. That was perfect. Yeah, I prefer 7 because y'all know my sleepy time. Is that okay with you guys? Yeah,
Don't want to
okay.
interfere with your sleepy time.
Man, you don't want to. No, it's not pretty. Okay, so we're gonna do 7 p.m. March 30th. Okay. For next spring drill run. Okay.
When you put that on your calendar, I would like to know that you did so I can see it. If,
Right.
refreshing actually shows up on my calendar.
Yes, so I'm going to actually do that right now because I
Oh,
like to do it to remind myself. So we can try this.
Yeah, you won't see it right away, Larry. Well, I don't know what.
Oh,
platform.
that's right. Yeah.
If you're on Google, it takes like 6 or 8 hours to propagate.
Oh, really?
Really? Oh, my goodness.
Oh.
Well, do it anyway. Let's see what happens.
Yeah.
I cannot make it on March 23rd. I see something popped up on my calendar.
April 23rd.
He
March
said
23rd.
March-
Talking about
he
two
said
different
March
dates.
23rd.
March
That's next
March
week.
30th in the evening is another run through, and April 23rd is a thing with the teen CERT.
So I'll go back in and put the Zoom link in there because that's usually what I do. I edit it and then I put the Zoom link so you guys can just click on that and it should come up with the Zoom link.
I got some of it, but not all of it. That's all right. I will.
It on your phone.
Yeah,
All it should say, because I didn't put any Zoom link information in yet. So you probably will just have you can just see it, right?
yeah. Well, I'm not surprised. I will wait and see.
Yeah. So Victoria, I had something on my calendar that I had read on the CERT calendar
Uh-huh.
related to the teen CERTs that said there's a hybrid drill on April 2nd.
That is, yes, that is Santa Clara County Fire Department's, their skills day. Yeah, and we had some people that we thought were going to be in that program, so that's why it's on the calendar.
So it's not on your calendar because it's not on.
No, because that's kind of their program.
Okay.
So we don't, I mean, they haven't asked for our help. So.
Okay, and Bridget, just so you know, I updated the communications one and I'm gonna take a look at the logistics one.
You updated it. So how did you do that? Oh, you mean the original the original document?
The position guide, yeah.
The position guide. Okay, thank you. I appreciate that because I was like taking notes and saying, I'm not going to remember these things, but I'll try.
And by all means, if you see something that doesn't look right, say something because it may very well not be right.
Right, okay. Or confusing me at least. And if it's confusing me, I can't help anybody else, so.
I'm going to update the Zoom link right now. Okay, so you guys should be able to see a Zoom link in there. Once it uploads and all that stuff, there'll be the link to the meeting in that calendar invite.
Yeah, it's slow. You're right, Neil. I don't have it yet.
Yeah.
And then I'm going to
Nothing
edit.
on G calendar yet, but I get your
I'm
other
gonna edit
stuff.
this, the teen cert day too, so it has the right times. So 11 to 1. And then I'm gonna do the spring drill, which I realize is not on there either. 10. What did I say? 10 to 12, right?
10 to 1, you actually said.
10 to 1. And then Bridget, we'll have to talk logistics for your house.
Oh, okay, sure. I've got
Who's
people to
gonna
help
help
me
us?
now, so it should be fun.
Yeah, I'm
I had
excited.
a question, we're going to talk about it anyway, but I was thinking that might be a good opportunity to invite at least my neighbors to come in somewhere towards the end to meet everybody. Say, look, you can come and
Absolutely.
meet our CERT, town CERT, and
Absolutely.
it could be casual. It wouldn't have to be like a meeting or anything.
Yeah, I think that's great. I'll put 1:30 to 3:30. How does that sound for that day for your social?
Sounds good.
Okay. Okay. All right. Well, we should be all updated, at least for that stuff.
So I have another question that just occurred to me. So if our presentations take 5 minutes and we have 3 hours set aside for the drill, most of it's going to be taken up in getting some things set up for the people to come and run through the stations. Is that the idea?
So
Yeah, I think that, go ahead,
so
Neil. Go ahead.
I think Victoria had the wrong amount of time for the drill. So I think when we were chatting about it, it was 2 hours total. And the allocation we had was 15 minutes for setup and initial welcome spiel, 15 minutes at the end for a hot wash, and an hour and a half, which is 15 minutes by 6 different stations for the talks.
Okay, great.
So it should be 10 to 12 then, right?
Yeah.
That
And
makes
then-
more sense because eating is much better at 12:30 than 1:30.
Yeah,
Yeah.
so why don't I change that then?
Right. And then we will descend like locusts to your house.
But you have to
12:30 to
find it. You have to use the right map. Don't use Yahoo.
And then we
Well,
have pathways.
If not, we will blame Dave.
Maybe I double check your address.
When we first moved here, Yahoo Maps thought we were Vizcaino, which was really bizarre because it hasn't been that for 50, 60 years. I don't know.
So Neil, for the time for pathways run, should I put 8 to 11? No, 8 to 12.
8 to 12.
Okay.
We typically get everyone going home around 11:30.
Okay.
And some people get to go home early, but I'd rather reserve a little too much than not enough.
Okay. We should set a meeting date to discuss logistics too. So will you send me some dates that work for you, Neil, and then I'll send it
Well,
out?
should we meet with Sarah first?
Yeah, that's what I was thinking, just after maybe, in a month or something, we should be able to get a hold of her and then do a pathways.
Yeah, I don't know if she's on vacation. She hasn't answered me. I don't know if she answered you.
She hasn't, but I know she kind of gets a little overloaded.
Okay.
So I'm assuming that's probably what's going on, because somebody else was saying that she hadn't been getting back to them either. So I'll do a reminder to follow up with her. So we can have a. Okay. It's good because I have a couple more things I need to get a hold of her for too. Okay.
And a little bit of town gossip, which I haven't seen publicly announced, but I heard it from a council member, so I'm assuming it's true, is Ann Heppenstall is coming on as the town's interim part-time emergency manager, replacing Marcia while they look for a permanent.
Yes, I have heard that as well. There's nothing that's been, I think, put on paper yet, so hopefully that'll happen soon.
But it is public that Anne quit from Los Altos.
She did.
Yeah.
She resigned. Yeah, her last day was the 15th, or yesterday actually. Yep. So I think right now her captain is taking over, Captain Kraus. For Sir O'Neill, don't start doing that. I've been trying not to do that all night. Uh-oh, I feel it coming on. Yeah, so hopefully we can still continue to do some things with Los Altos. I think it's just going to be a little bit of time to kind of let them figure out what their next moves are and what they're going to do over there. But and then pet parade, do you want me to sign us up for the pet parade?
Are you
I always thought we
marching
should
or
march.
doing a
We
table?
should march.
Yeah, Dave, you're always saying you want to march. Do you want to take on that to get some volunteers and I'll march with you? I promise. I have a dog now I can bring.
I got 4 dogs. I can lend them out
Me
to other
too.
people.
I have 4 dogs also.
Really? You're as crazy as I am? Or
Well,
my
I
wife is?
inherited them when my mother-in-law passed, 2 of them. So
No,
that's crazy.
we got every one of them individually until we had 4.
He is like a little small dog herd. They kind of herd around each other. They're really cute.
They're
Yeah.
cute,
Not
but
dogs.
yappy.
Yes.
Yes. Small ones. Yes.
So what do you think? Should we?
I don't know. I don't have no opinion.
I like the idea only because, we can put on vests and wander around and show a little face at something that is another one of these Los Altos small town events. And we don't necessarily have to be doing it as, radio communications and first aid. We can just be part of the pack.
That was a good one.
We be in the parade,
Yeah.
Yeah, we can walk in the parade with our animals and
my kid's wagon.
yeah. I
We
think
need
we
a
should, I
banner
think we
like the
should do it.
Scouts, right? Okay.
Yeah,
I'll do it.
we have a
I'll sign
banner.
it.
There we go. Okay, see, we already got
Yeah.
3
When
sign
is
up.
it? When is it though? That's a question.
Well, here's the thing. It's May 14th.
Oh, how nice.
It'll be a full CERT weekend. But the parade's not that long and it's super fun. Okay, Dave, do you want to take on getting people to go?
No, absolutely not.
Darn.
Victoria, you tried that so smoothly, but
I did, didn't I? I thought, okay, I got him. He's not even paying attention.
No,
Yes.
I'm so good at deflecting
Ugh, okay.
and not at all afraid to say, no, thank you. I've had enough.
I know you've told me no many times, and I'm happy that you set boundaries, Dave. Those are healthy boundaries.
Yeah.
Yes,
Keeps
that's a
me
good
happy.
thing. And I can take it.
Well, and if I want to do it and no one else steps up to make it happen and it doesn't happen, then whose fault is it? Right?
Oh, so it's gonna be my fault if I can't get a bunch of people
No,
together?
mine, because I didn't
Wow.
step up and make it happen.
Oh, got it. No, but it's gonna be my fault then now, because now I have to step up and make it happen is what I'm saying.
No, you have to find someone to delegate it to make it happen.
Well, I don't see people jumping up on the screen and going, pick me, pick me, pick me. So,
I'm just trying to get my presentation. I'll worry about that first.
yeah, exactly. I'll worry about all the little stuff and get us signed up and then cross
I
our
could
fingers.
donate dogs for sure if someone wants a dog to walk.
I'm down for that. Because
this
I had to rent out 2 dogs last year.
This discussion reminds me of a meeting I had when I was down at the county. One of my assistants was berating me because I wasn't forcefully assigning tasks to people and was telling me, you just simply have to tell them they got to do it. So I looked at him and said, would you do this task? No. So
I know.
guess what? Coordinating volunteers is not easy.
It's not. I usually have to go the guilt trip route and it works usually. I just have to sound like I'm ready to drive off a cliff or something. And then people start going, okay, I'll help, I'll help, I'll help. So, but that's why I like that we've gotten together to do the spring drill planning. I think it's been a really good way to get things prepared so that people are more comfortable. Cause maybe that's the thing too, right? People aren't comfortable. So now that they kind of know what to expect. So hopefully we'll have a big turnout, and you guys as instructors will feel comfortable too. All right, well, I don't think we have anything else. I've hit my night limit here. So I will see you guys. I'll send an email out with all these updates probably tomorrow-ish, hopefully. And then we'll see you guys on March 30th.
Okay.
All right, good night,
And-
everybody.
and, Larry, I'll email you. We'll get a time.
Bye.
I read his lips. He said, "Oh, sure, that sounds great, Bridget."
I saw.
Okay. Bye, Cars. Bye, Show.
Yeah, good night, everybody.
Oh,
Good
you
night.
are there. Good night.